let's talk. Uh, Yo, what's up? How goes it? I don't even know how to start this shit off, like, because I don't know. I guess my mind is just kind of like all over the fucking place as I'm getting prepared and just like in anticipation for the the blackout event on the 28th. Oh, let me turn this off. I just want y'all to catch the vibe real quick, cause that's where we at, nigga. This is goddamn sea level ballroom. I'm on niggas nuts. So let's look it up. But I don't know, man. What's good with y'all? I'll call this the well, I'm Joker, so I would rather call it collective momentum. But you know, whatever. Yeah, we're just talking shit here. Um, I guess clearing out a mental default before I get to my creations. So I figured we could do a little video and it'd be equal parts promo for the 28th and you know, we just be talking some shit, kicking some jazz, addressing triggers, right? Like I've been thinking about a lot of shit. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like I'm talking about I being here. Oh my god. I'll be on the wild side. Be thinking about some shit. Also, I don't know. Like as I get ready for the 28th, like if we get ready, like me and the collective, it's kind of crazy because I feel like this event is almost like a rebirth or rebranding on a certain level, where I don't know, just kind of how we coming now with what type of jewelry we rolling out with just the overall like growth. You know what I mean? Person to person, soul to soul, like just between the three of us. Oh, this has been great. Also, I don't know. I guess like as I'm getting ready for these tattoos, it's so weird because I wouldn't consider myself. Uh, I wouldn't consider myself a lot of things. If I'm honest with you, I wouldn't consider myself an artist. I would not consider myself an alchemist. I would not consider myself a magician. I would not consider myself. Did I say artist? Oh, let me say that twice. Cause what was that? I was watching I was watching the Boondocks, and it was that episode where like he's doing the graffiti and shit, and what was it, Bob Ross or somebody, the white dude with the fro, and the very first part of the episode, dude was just kind of like, uh, Riley was here. Okay, well, as an artist, you should ask the important question: why should they care? And I don't give no fuck. I don't give no fuck what you care about. I don't give no fuck what you think about nothing. Over here, especially with me, book club, what we got doing, I don't give no fuck what you think. Mum's the word. Whatever you heard, whatever you running with, I'm cool with that. But I also wouldn't consider myself a spiritualist, right? I wouldn't consider myself among the spiritual community, right? And so even these tattoos, I feel like is something of a testament for that. I mean, because although like again, I'm not a tattoo artist. If anything, I'm a scratcher because I didn't taught myself. But the type of tattoos that I'm trying to do, like if I did practice magic, I'm on the ascension wave where like I don't got time to be throwing spells at people. For what? It's a waste of my time if I'm honest with you. I value me, I value my time, I value what I got going on. I ain't got time to be throwing shit at nobody. But it's very you get tricky when you start like learning about magic and then you know things like gossip, that's magic. Like you yeah, life and death is in the tongue. So like the funny thing about whatever it is that I decide to resonate with, I fuck around, I'll find out I'm either not that or I am that, but it's not special because everything's that. So like, let's say I found out, oh, the world of like psychics phenomenon and psychics and ESP and all that other shit is real. Okay, well, that's cute because everybody's psychic. It's not that special. It's the whole sixth sense thing. We used to have that shit before tech, high key. If I thought, oh, now, again, wouldn't consider myself an artist because I was always a wannabe. I was always trying to do some shit. I was always trying to do this, get this to a certain point, and go somewhere, do something else. So it wasn't like whatever I did, I thought was good. I was just trying shit. So it isn't at the point in which, you know what I mean, I start actually pushing that skill and I'm seeing it get better. And then I find myself in the world of artists. And then I realize it's like every other world where y'all get ego too. And so it's just kind of like, I don't really want to be an artist. Same way I wouldn't want to be a part of the spiritual community or any community. And the reason why is because um, I believe that community has to have common unity. And so if we're not all on the same page on what that common unity is, this is no fucking community. And then if it's some sidebar underground in the dark type shit, then like how what is the community really on really like? So I go and I've been through several circles and I find out it's the same fucking shit. So I don't even care. But with the spiritual shit, it's almost like anytime you add like ality or the itty suffix to some shit, you add that to denote like degree and quality or the state of something as it relates to a noun, right? I don't know. The best I could say for that, if you don't get what that means, just Google it. Like Google what the suffix of what the suffix of that shit means. But spirituality is a very gray umbrella. Before it was spirituality, it was consciousness. So I mean, like spirituality is such a vague gray umbrella term. Whether one was religious or whether one was spiritual, it's like Orange is the New Black type shit, where your spirituality ends up becoming your religion until you actually start forming, refining it on some level. Like you start giving it names and epitaphs and titles. So a motherfucker could have been spiritual up until a certain point, but then how about this? I don't know. From the moment I got here, it's very hard for me to like separate shit, if that makes sense, right? So like when you say motherfucker spiritual, it's almost as if they're only focusing on one side of the spectrum of life as we know it, the unseen, the formless, the shapeless. But life ain't like that, is it? It's a little bit of both. There really isn't a separation. You have a physical expression for something spiritual. It's that whole hermetic shit, the as above, so below. But that shit's weird because it's the above is like the below. And that means a couple of different things, right? So like I've been contemplating, and I mean we're still on the subject of magic, ascension magic and things like that. But on the spiritual tip, like if anything, my father's not Satanist because I don't worship material, but I do cherish it, right? Like I do understand that like there's something to it. So, if anything, I'm Luciferian because I'm probably just gonna do my own thing, indicative of whatever the fuck I have going on anyway. And then I'm an Ascensionist. So, I, if that make enough sense to you, you know, I still believe in a higher power. I don't believe that I'm the higher power, but the above is like the below. So if there is something above that is indicative of that, it has an ambassador for it. That's that One Piece shit, right? And you think this shit be just fucking stories and myths and shit like that, but no. These niggas got some shit called the Will of D, and what it is like some phenomenon that certain characters with this initial in their name, that they're almost fated or decreed or destined for a particular type of experience. And so because of that, anytime these niggas gotta get in a fight for some shit, it's almost like you could fuck around and lose if they're there, because somehow destiny seems to sway in their favor. But the D don't stand for destiny. The D stands for deity, because that's Manly P. Hall, the will of deity. And the will of deity is on some shit like, again, the above is like the below. So you have physical, you have spiritual shit, but then you have physical representation for it. This might not make a whole bunch of sense to most people, but I understand that things come full circle. And so I understand that, like, because they lie about so much shit, that, like, I have to question what the fucking actual fact actually is. Like, just because you say 2 + 2 = 4, just because you say something akin to, like, we could do like flat earth theory, right? Where like the earth is round, or is it flat? I've tried to get behind these arguments, and I really don't. I don't see how it pertains to me, or like how it pertains to the overall experience as life as you know it, whether it was 2D or if it was 3D, right? But then I started thinking about that shit. And I started thinking about the shit as it relates to magic, because I had to think about magic is not. There are aptitudes for anything that anybody could do, right? Like there's classes and there's grades. There's gonna be A's, there's gonna be B's and C's and D's and everything else in between. But the whether you got a talent for some shit or whether you work on some shit and you develop a skill, it's almost like the like that black belt theory, where like you have like seafoods or whatever, and they'll see people who be built for martial arts, be built for this shit, fuck around and they would be a black belt, but then they burn out maybe 6 months because they don't have it in their heart to do it, even if they had the talent for it. But it'll be the people who was grinding and disciplining themselves or whatever, and they be the ones that, and it be like that for certain shit. Certain shit you can work hard for and you'll be that, and then other shit's rigged. Back to the flat earth thing though. So I've been trying to think about that shit. And the interesting thing about it is I'm pretty convinced that the earth is round. But scientifically speaking, and you could look it up because I've looked it up, you could Google it, right? Scientifically speaking, although the earth is round, the universe is flat. That might not mean nothing to nobody, but I'll walk you through what that means to me. We can say that the earth is round, and that may well be true, but the universe is flat. And so this is even getting into these shapes. This is how I see men and women, where it'll be like circles and squares, right? We want to be equal. Masculine wants to be equal to feminine, and it is. But it's equal insofar as a circle is equal to a square. Meaning that, would you say a circle is the same as a square? No. But are they equal? Yeah, because they both contain 360 degrees of area within them. There's 90 degree right angles in a square. The circumference of a circle, pi, or is 360 degrees. So they both contain 360 degrees within them, but they're not the same fucking thing. And you wouldn't use them to do the same fucking thing. You're not gonna put four squares on a car and try to roll to work. But it's equal, just not the same. And so when I think about the earth being round, but the universe being flat, I used to think about the shit like a game, like 2D, 3D. But I'm looking at definitions a little bit differently now. And so when I think about the earth being round, I don't necessarily think about it insofar as what that means, like physically, right? I take that into account, but I'm also thinking about it spiritually, where, you know what I mean, you get life from circles. But when you do art, you do it on a square, generally speaking, right? So you do it on a canvas, or you do it on a square, like especially if it's 2D, right? And so this is that whole universe is flat thing, and this is why I feel like this is why magic is the way that it is, where it's like when we say, again, go just before I go too far, we do art on canvases, on squares. Art is defined through its limitations, right? But now we'll get back to the flat universe thing. When I understand now that the universe is flat, what flat is supposed to mean, or what it can mean, is that something is smooth or even, right? So now, because of certain principles that I rock with, like hermetic law, right, or as the above, so is so like the below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. So if the universe is flat, scientifically speaking, if it's flat, then the soul is flat. Or it should be. It should be smooth and it should be even. So now when I take into account that smoothness and that evenness, that doesn't necessarily need to be like a 2D thing in my mind. Now that's like, I can wrap my mind around universal law. That it smooths, or not universal law, cosmic moral law. It smooths and evens things out. It's the justice. It's karma, you dare say. Whether you want to believe in it or not, it happens. You don't have to see it, but it happens. As a man reapeth, so shall he sow, right? That's not just some biblical shit. That's farmers planting seeds. If I plant an apple seed, I'm not gonna get an orange tree. I sowed an apple, so I get an apple tree. It's not rocket science. But then there's almost like a law of extension past that, where you don't just get what you sow, you get the harvest. You get what you sow plus more. And that's nature, right? That's a round thing. And it still kind of evens things out. So I don't know. I don't necessarily got to think about shit how most people think about shit. I'm looking at things at a lot of different angles. And so then now when I start thinking about like how magic works at that point, when the universe is flat now, it's almost like, what is it about writing on paper, getting things in writing, drawing on things, scripting things, Like I didn't wrote songs. Like any song that I've ever like just spit verbatim, like on camera, like it's some shit that I wrote like 5, 10 years ago. And then I can see it actually happening in real life. How many rappers have I seen predict their own deaths? Like, it's a very interesting thing where there's something magical that happens when you get things not on paper, but on flat surfaces, on 2D planes. And then you start thinking about things like ley lines and pyramids, where like where a pyramid is on a specific location on the earth, but it's lined to connect with a particular star, like straight lines, and that's supposed to do something to reality as we know it. Yeah, I guess the universe is flat. That's the only reason why magic makes sense, like logically now to me. That because you're drawing lines to things, straight lines at that. So I mean, I don't know. As I kind of continue to do these, I want to get fancy and call it sacred tattooing, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like at the end of it all, it's a spell, right? I see it as that, but you know what I mean. I work out not just whatever intentions that a person may have for whatever it is that they want, but I kind of just try to make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be, and that's not just with tattooing. That's just even with creating. So like, I think I'm again so excited because if I haven't been creating for the last couple of months, it's just been to make sure that my soul was lighting up, that my spirit was, you know what I mean, at ease or at some level of peace, irrespective of whatever it is that I feel like I'm dealing with. And I deal with craziness. I deal with secret competitions, all kind of weird shit. Like, you know, it's weird because, yeah, high key motherfuckers don't appreciate you when you humble. And I'm not really gonna be humble with nothing no more. I'm nice with whatever the fuck it is that I do. And you know what's so weird about it? I've done tattoos that have they were supposed to be sigils and spells for improving artistically, right? And I thought that shit would be cool. And it is until at what point am I getting better now and it's me? I don't know. I can't even feel great about it anymore. I just know if I show up, I'm gonna get better. But is that because I'm that much better, or is it because I did a spell? Are you strongest because you Gojo, or you Gojo because you're the strongest? I this be that whole um like vision thing that I have, whether it's I'm watching fiction or I'm reading nonfiction, or we're talking about the spiritual, or we're talking about the physical. Where I'm from, like where I'm really from, like where my soul is from, not where my body, not where my flesh, not where my blood is from, but where my soul is from, there's no separation. So it's very hard for me to make a distinction with shit. You ask me the wrong question, I'm gonna look at you like you stupid. That's why I wear masks and glasses and shit. Then when I see through shit, it kind of just be like, I mean, I see, but I don't judge. It just kind of is what it is. I mean, because I can see the cliff top and the, the ground below, the rock bottom. I'm so curious about that. I feel like I'll end this on that. I heard somebody talking about, maybe it was Will Smith, but he's talking about the this whole cliff top thing where like he was praying that everybody gets exactly what they want, everything that they want, so that you can get everything and you see that it's not enough to really fulfill or sustain you. Like there's only so many trips, there's only so much sex, there's only so much shit before you actually kind of get your fill, right? You can overfeed a snake. And so then what do you do at that point? You got to go in and if you have not been like dealing with trauma, like healing, you know what I mean, wounds, things like that, we tend to kind of just like bleed on people. Like, that's just not something that I actually like. Once I caught on to that shit, I was like, oh no, I guess I'll just work on me until I don't want to beat everybody's face in. Yeah, let me just figure out what all of that is so that I'm actually cool. And then you'll have things still try to trigger you past that, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting to a point now where like you really couldn't argue with me about some shit. You really couldn't tell me nothing. And the more experiments I do at this point, I'm not to say that I'm a scientist or something like that because results may vary, but the more shit that I do at this point, it's just kind of like magic seems to always work because you can't do something and not expect something not to happen. Period. It's as you reap, so you saw. So everything from intentions to just trying shit and then seeing, oh shit, there's something to it. It fucking worked. Like, oh shit, you don't like your life, you can actually look at it and then sit down and decide how you want to live it. Oh shit. So this is where I kind of even get to the whole reality being kind of subjective thing because it is depending on what you is allowing to build up your idea of it because that's what it is. I mean, it can have a certain level of reality to it, but that only it's like water. You can gave that shit so much weight that that's kind of what it's gonna be now. You see my cat in the background. But that's that. This has been my TED Talk. Um, do with this what you will. I say good day.